Okay, you're recording. Okay, so I believe this is recording now, so we're gonna get started. So hello everyone, my name is Alain Giroux. I'm in the Community and Justice Services program at Canadore College. This will be my correctional program presentation for the CJS 101 class with Professor Sergeant Rose Bosha. So we're gonna get started. Before I start presenting my own I'm sorry, I have a blank program presentation. I'm going to talk a bit about the basics of correctional programming and corrections. So a bit of an introduction. So there's federal and provincial corrections that offer a variety of correctional programs for inmates and offenders who are sentenced to a correctional facility or are under community supervision with such as parole and probation. So on the bottom, I have the uh, Federal Correctional Service of Canada logo, and then the Correctional Services of Ontario logo. As I make reference to provincial corrections in this presentation, I will be making reference to the Ontario Correctional Services. Okay. So there is many goals and beyond the world of correctional programming. So one is to the means of reducing recidivism rates based on the social learning theory of behavior and making use of cognitive behavioral techniques. So a big word to say, the road to rehabilitation, as your picture shows on the bottom. Um, Other goals include increasing the safety of Canadian communities, correct and change attitudes and behaviors related to their offending to hold them accountable, provide provide valuable work skills and work experiences. So in the federal sector, we would call that the Corcan workshops, um, which would make reference to the I'm sorry, the phone's ringing. That's why I'm a little blank. The Corcan workshop would make reference to the um, preparedness of being the workshop trade. Sorry, that's the word I was looking for. Um, Trade programs. The federal sector actually builds stuff such as furniture, carpentry, things, and they sell it for the institution and the Canadian government. And then from a provincial perspective, we call it the workshops. They're not all available at all the institutions or jails, but there are some workshops available in some jails and detention centers across the province. So examples of correctional programs, life skills, rehabilitative programs to address issues such as substance abuse, anger management, etc. Education and literacy, um, like as previously mentioned, the workplace program. Um, Other examples for how programs change offender behavior, all linked to substance abuse, pro-criminal attributes, antisocial personality, pro-criminal associates, education / employment, family, marital relationships, leisure and recreation, and then the big one, criminal history. Okay, so now that's my spiel of the introduction to correctional programming. Now I'm going to jump into my program presentation that I would offer for inmates as a volunteer. So I call it the Inmate Volunteer Post-Release Support Program. It would be ran by volunteers with the assistance of correctional services, and it would be open to the population of everyone, men and women. Essentially, anyone could request this program that would need post-release support from the institution when they get out. So the Inmate Volunteer Post-Release Program is currently not introduced in Canada, although it is a standard in the correctional it is their standard upon release in Norway, as they call it, the inmate rehabilitation process in Norway. So with Norway being one of the lowest recidivism rates in the world, they share a lot of important points in their correctional system that is unique across the globe because it's not really implemented everywhere. Norway invests a lot of money in their prison, which, as we talked in class, as we watched the video before too in class, it makes a huge difference because as the lowest recidivism rates are the lowest. People don't reoffend. They have the help they need. Um, just an example on the bottom middle photo, that's inside of a jail cell. It's not the common stainless steel bed, toilet, and sink, and the bar steel doors that you see in our older jails and penitentiaries in Canada. So the program highlights, to go more into detail, there is currently an emphasis on helping others reintegrate the society. So the program consists of volunteers with active labor market programs, so a big word to say source to jobs, with goals to set up ex-convicts, find a job, and the ability to have a variety of social support services. So also the volunteers would assist them with housing, social assistance, and disability insurance to assist them with all the application. And it's not really something you prepare in prison. So that would be a great help from volunteers that have the knowledge in that labor market programs. You may ask, why is this important? If you would put yourself in the mindset of an inmate being released from a correctional facility, it can sound so easy for us to say, I'll find a job when I get out of prison. Although it is not as easy as it seems. It can be difficult for some people to reintegrate effectively after being incarcerated for many years. Um, Even with the preparedness of your correctional team, your correctional workers, in the end, it's not that easy. Um, Ex-convicts may be required by their parole officer to find a job immediately as one of their parole conditions. Um, and some parole officers take the initiative to help um, the ex-convict to find a job. They have connections, but not everyone has the time or takes the time. So that's when more the volunteers would come in because it's not that easy. So volunteers could provide that extra support. So volunteers, with correctional services always seeking volunteers for inmate-related programs, I believe that this program would strongly benefit the offender after being released from custody. Um, as easy as a parole officer, as I previously mentioned, can advise you to get a job right away. They may not always have the time to find one for you. Volunteers can be connected with the offender as soon as they're released from custody. Examples would include assisting with travel to the halfway house if required from the institution. Just an example. Assist them with finding jobs, creating resumes, become a contact for them um, on the on the outside if they need to. And the next slide will actually make more sense in that perspective. Not everyone can require volunteers. Some people have their family waiting at the door when they get out of the institution. Some people, sorry, there's a typo there, released, it's released from the institution. Um, Although some people may not have anyone left on the outside. I mean, if you were incarcerated 25, 30 years in federal, you get out and no one's left anymore. You're alone, you're on your own. You would need that extra post support. Um, my favorite slide. It's a picture I got online. So support, you can also add volunteer to that to help with advice, information, help, assistance, guidance, competence, and solution and direction. Um, those are all keys that would be offered from the volunteer that could assist the inmates once they reintegrate once they reintegrate society. And I believe that's the end. Thank you everyone for listening to my presentation of the post-released inmate service program. Thank you very much.